First, let's pay homage to the lineage gurus. Homage to the Venerable Mang Liao Ming. Homage to Master Sakya Tsongkhong, the Zhong Rinpoche. Homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa, and homage to Master Dukden Dorje. Homage to the three jewels of the altar, and homage to the main deity of Homa today, Ganesh. Ganapati, the red Jambala. Simu. Panchen Gacho Rinpoche. All Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma assistants, directors of temples and chapters, all disciples present here and over the internet, and our participating VIPs today are the Director General Ambassador Daniel Liao and Madam Liao, the rep from Republic of Taiwan to Norway and Sweden, Law Advisor to the Foundation, Dharma Sister Jennifer Zhou, Dr. Brian Zhuang, and from the U.S. Greenland Nurturing, the CEO, Mr. Tuan, and the advisor to the Overseas Chinese of Republic of China, Taiwan, Dharma Sister Winnie She, and the advisor, Mr. Mai, Mr. Mac. Good afternoon, everyone. How do you do? First, I would like to announce next Sunday on June 9th at 3 p.m. at the Rainbow Temple, we will have the Dorje Purba Vajrakilaya Homa fire offering ceremony. So Dorje Purba is Vajrakilaya, the mantra. And the sixth syllable is the blue home. And the inward mudra, the middle fingers are straight, upright, slightly different from Yamantaka. For Dorje Purba, it's very straight to represent his power. And for Yamantaka, it's slightly curved. But for Purba, it's very straight. And around this, there are several mudras. This is for Vajrakilaya, slightly curved for Yamantaka. When they are crossed for Ragaraja, if they are separate, then that's Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva. So of this, there are four mudras: Vajrakilaya, Ragaraja, Yamantaka, Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva. So there are four mudras here. We all know that Dorje Purba primarily holds the Purba or Vajra scepter, Vajra Purba. So he's extremely powerful, subjugating Heruka. So that's next week. Doje Purba Homa fire offering ceremony. Now, I would like to ask who bought the offerings for Ganapati? Who bought them? You did? Did you buy bananas? Yes, how many? Over 10 bunches. Where did you put them? The areas where we place offering items. Did we burn them? No. He said that he needed 3 bunches of bananas. So can we burn some of them now? 3 bunches of bananas. So we need to burn 3 bunches. We have to add the people on the side. He wanted 3 bunches of bananas. You just place them on the side. It's not good to not to burn them. He opened his mouth and we needed to burn 3 bunches of bananas. Did anyone buy carrots? Yes. Yeah, please return to your seat. Thank you. Good thing that we bought them. Otherwise, we would have to drive to buy them now. Really? He showed the bananas and 3 bunches of them for me to show, and we have to put them into the Homa fire. And if you just place them on the side, that's not good enough. We have to burn them. So that was his special request from Ganapati. So Ganapati was in India. There are the 3 major gods: Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, or Mahaswara. And Ganesh is the son of Shiva. And he's also the wealth deity of India. I remember when we went to India, by coincidence, it was the birthday of Ganesh. So, and they had fireworks. The whole New Delhi had lots of fireworks to celebrate his birthday. So he's very important. So Ganesh is extremely important for India because he's the deity for wealth and resources. So in India, he's the most important wealth deity. And then the Tibetan Tantrayana regards him as a deity. And he's one of the 5 directional wealth deities. And the meaning of a wealth deity is that he is in charge of all wealth. And he also has a power over lifespan. He is in control, in charge of lifespan. And he often counts the leaves of carrots. His hand is holding the leaves of a carrot. The red Shambhala has a red body, elephant head, and 4 arms. The first right hand is holding a carrot, and the second right hand holds the evil subduing axe, and the first left hand holds carrot leaves, and the second left hand holds a mala chanting beads. So he counts the carrot leaves. So every time when we were born, it's like a destiny. It was destined how much wealth you would have in that life. So if you're able to see, then you would see Ganapati and see how many leaves he has counted. It's like one piece of leaf representing a wealth storage. So 2 leaves representing 2 wealth storages, or 3 for 3. So your wealth was destined. And then if you have more, then you have to return it. And then if you don't, so our wealth were destined. But by practicing the wealth deity in the future, it will be different, because he's in charge of wealth and wealth vaults or storages. If you can let Ganapati be pleased, once he's pleased, he would dance, like what the ghost witch was saying, that he would dance for her. So when he's pleased, he would sing and dance. And once he sings and dances, then you're in luck, because he would bestow wealth upon you. Then your wealth storage would increase. So in Tibetan Buddhism, red Shambhala is the wealth deity. You can practice it. So like in your destiny, you only have 1 wealth storage, then he can bestow you 2. Or you only have 2, he can bestow 4. Or you have 4 and he could bestow 8 upon you. Then it would continually increasing. So therefore, many people love red Shambhala. And he is able to count our years, our lifespan. That's also destined. It seems to be destined how many years you live, but it can also be increased. Why? Because if you truly cultivate spiritually and you have grounds of realization, and you can practice in great details, and when you have attainments and fruitions, you can change your destiny. Therefore, one can change one's destiny. But if you don't cultivate spiritually, you don't do Dharma practices, and you don't do any goods, then your destiny cannot change. Only 2 things can change your destiny. One is you have done a lot of good deeds or good merits, and second is you have great attainments from your spiritual cultivation. Then you can change your destiny, and you can change your wealth, your destiny, your lifespan. All can be increased. Therefore, someone said, that because our lifespan has been determined at birth and the wealth that we're supposed to have had been determined, so there's no need to try or to work hard. No, that's not the case. Although it was predestined, but you can still change it. So we read a book called Liao Fan. And you can change your faith, and that is correct. So because you have done a lot of good deeds and you had the bad faith, but then things would go smoothly. You would not encounter many obstructions and many adversities. So it was predetermined, but can be changed. We often say that if it is in your destiny, then it will happen. But if it's not in your destiny, there's no need to force upon it. But we don't force anything. We just practice and cultivate spiritually, and naturally our destiny will change. In Tibetan Buddhism, Ganapati is a wealth deity and the source of resources. And in Buddhism, Ganesh was considered as the Mara of great power. And Maheswara was called the celestial Mara. And like the son of the celestial Mara refers to Ganapati, Tianzimu, because in Hinduism he's considered to be a great god, and once he obstructed Buddhism, as I have said once before. Maheswara or Shiva was the god of destruction, and Brahma is the god of creator, and Vishnu is the god for protection. And Shiva and Parvati was the wife of Maheswara. Was that Kali? And their son was called Ganapati. In Buddhism, there is also a god called the Supreme Self-Mastery Blissful Deva, and that's Rajambala, Da Seng Huan Xi Tian, the Supreme Joyous Deva. And in Japan, it was widely worshipped, and it's in dual body. And the dual body had the origin, as I have said. I have said it before. Have you heard it? About this Supreme Joyous Deva? If you have, please raise your hand. If you have heard about the story. And nobody have heard it? Down below. Ganapati was destructing, and he continually destructed even Buddha Dharma, Buddhism. So in the destruction of this Buddhism, Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva appeared to subdue him. Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva saw him to be the son of Mahaswara, of the god of destruction, and he has tremendous power. As you all know, the power of the elephant is tremendous. It's really great. So nowadays we cut the trees using tractors, but in the past, in ancient time, in Thailand, they used elephants and used the trunks of the elephants to pull up the trees. That showed how great his power is. And nowadays, the biggest animal is also elephant, not dinosaurs. So nowadays, the greatest animal are the elephants. So he showed great power. So no gods can subdue Ganapati. So Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva descended and subdued Ganapati. And Ganapati was in a male form. And Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva emanated or transformed to become a female Ganapati, or the elephant head god, Devi. So the male Ganapati never saw a female Ganapati before that. And when he saw her, love at the first sight, love at the first sight. So he courted after her, this female Ganapati, which was an emanation of Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. But he couldn't get her because Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva had great transcendent power. So finally, Ganapati asked Avalokitesvara to marry him. He kneeled down and offered the carrots and bananas. If you marry me, I will give you all this, and I will love you forever. And then Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva told him, I don't need any of this. All I want is for you to never destroy any Buddhist. As long as you don't destroy any Buddhist and you don't harm any human being, then I will marry you. And of course, Ganapati agreed to anything in his crush, in the power of love. As long as they're in love together all the time, he agreed to anything. That's why we have Ganapati in a dual body. So that's the victorious, joyous Deva, Mahaswara Deva. The dinosaurs, my brother, have said that before marriage it's like in love forever, and after marriage is like, how long will this last? So it's a difference between before and after marriage. Before marriage, we always wish for love forever, but after marriage, they wonder when it will finish. There was a joke that someone kept looking at his marriage certificate, like our supplements and vitamins, they have expiration date. So he was looking at his marriage certificate, and people asked him, why are you keep looking at your marriage certificate? And he replied, I was wondering, when is the expiration date? Is there an expiration date for the marriage certificate? No. Then he was just wasting his time. Do we have a marriage certificate? Where is our marriage certificate? Don't remember. I don't remember either. I don't remember where it is. Did we have a marriage certificate? Yes. But we have thrown it out. So it has expired. But it never expires. Doesn't matter whether you lost it or not. It's still in effect legally. Frankly speaking, without Simu, there will not be True Buddha Strong. From the beginning of my Dharma propagation, Simu had been receiving phone calls from our wedding day. When I was in the military, I gave spiritual consultation to 300 people. Every morning when I opened my door, there were 300 people came in for consultation. And they came by appointments. So who made the appointments? It was Simu. Up till today, nobody could make a phone call to me. Because I have no cell phone. Well, I do have one cell phone, but it's always turned off. It's always off. So nobody can call me. And it doesn't matter how intimate someone is to me, they cannot call me. Doesn't matter whether it's man or woman, whether they're in heavens or on earth, nobody can get the phone call. So who's receiving these phone calls? It's Simu. So Simu resolves many issues. She's not only Mahasri Devi, the goddess of the auspicious heaven. This is also so this is like the 1,000 eyes, 1,000 arms, Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. I never care or never in charge of Fochi and Fochi. They were raised completely by Simu. In this life, I have nothing to worry. That's because of Simu. That Simu takes care of many things. So we can say that she is holding up half of True Buddha School. All I know is Buddha Dharma, and I don't know anything else. All I know is about spiritual cultivation, and I don't know anything else. So the things that I don't know, then Simu is able to handle them. I wish that I can live first, then I would be at peace, because after I pass away, then Simu can continue. Simu can continue to live. But if it is unfortunate that Simu passes away first, then I will not be able to continue living. Is it really that bad? Let me tell you, it truly is. No one person can take over Simu's jobs. So that's the blessings of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, so that Simu helps me. So the first person that I'm most grateful to is Simu. That's the truth. I like to joke around, but what I say today is true, is real. Now let's continue on Lamdre. Here, Bodhicharya, the so-called Bodhicharya, it represents a human being or sentient beings. So Bodhicharya, is that sentient beings? Yes. So the sentient beings with high spiritual root, one will be reborn in a higher rank, and for the middling root, one relies on his or her affinity at the moment of death to elevate his goal, and for the inferior root, one relies on the intermediate state or bardo. As for the lowest kind of spiritual root, a yogi can have attainments in 7 lifetimes if he maintains samaya vows and precepts. So if you have the superior or the best kind of spiritual root, that if you as a person is like the best kind of spiritual vessel, then you can attain Buddhahood in this lifetime, in this very body. You can have attainments very fast, and you can attain Buddhahood. But for the middling or the ordinary superior spiritual route, then you realize at the moment of death. And if you can maintain the light in your heart at the moment of death, then you can attain Buddhahood at the moment of death or at the spirit state. So for the highest spiritual route is you attain Buddhahood in the lifetime, but for the middling is during the intermediate state. But for the inferior spiritual route, then one relies on his soul at the moment when the soul leaves the body. That's the attainment in the spirit state. Because when the soul leaves the body, if you have created affinity with that yidam, the yidam would appear and guide you to the Pure Land. So the guidance by the yidam is for the inferior route. And for the lowest kind of spiritual route, they rely on samaya vows and precepts. So for the lowest spiritual route, although you don't have good spiritual route, impossible for you to have any attainments, what can you do? Because you abide by the precept, you can attain Buddhahood in 7 lifetimes. So you need to be reincarnated in the human realms for 7 times, and then you can attain Buddhahood in the future. If one cannot attain transference of consciousness, then there are 4 types. So if you cannot transform your consciousness to attain Buddhahood, there are 4 types of souls or bardo states: empowerment, path, realization, affiliation, as known in the main practice above. So, if you have not achieved the transference of consciousness, and what is transference of consciousness is you transform yourself to become a Buddha. If you don't have such power, what should you do? As a soul or bardo state, you have 4 types. One is empowerment. So by receiving the empowerment, which is in the pre-practice divided into 3, you can be mindful towards the root guru, you can be mindful towards your yidam, and mindful towards your secret name or dharma name. So you need to pay attention to our dharma name. Secret name is dharma name. The secret name obtained from the yidam mandala. Like Grandmaster's secret name is Dutan Chimo. If I really have fallen into hell, and the Yama King asks me, what is your name, your tantric name? And I am Duptan Jimo. That's your tantric name. And how about you? So your name is Lian Hua XX. So when the Yama King asks you, what is your secret name, and you cannot say, then But if you can say you are Lian Hua so-so, then you know. So be mindful at the right thing at the right time. This way, do so during meals, anytime, before sleep, or in the dreams. And one can be mindful. If one can be mindful this way, then it will bear fruition. We all have received empowerments, tantric empowerments. If you can name your root guru, when the Yama King asks you, who is your root guru? And then you say, if you say XX, then that would be XX. Then he would write cross, cross. Then you would fall to hell. So you need to be mindful towards your root guru. Who is your root guru? And if you say living Buddha Lian Seng, then the Yama King would be surprised. Sometimes he would find a way to let you go back to life, to let you live a few more years, because you remember the name of your root guru. Because once you go there, it will be quite a mess. And if you are asked who is your root guru and you say XX, then there would be X on your record and you would fall to hell. And then if you say it wrongly, or that if you are unclear and make mistakes about your root guru, and some people are befuddled and got to the Yama King, and then you are being asked, who's your root guru? And you say, I am Master Lien Yin. That's wrong. That's mistake. So you have to say it right. So first, you need to be mindful towards your root guru. You need to always remember and mindful your own root guru, and mindful towards your yidam. Who is your yidam? Your personal deity. You need to always chant the name of your yidam. Grandmaster's yidams are Golden Mother, Amitabha, and Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva. I often recite them, not only at night before sleep, during the daytime too, at any time. So always mindful toward the yidam. And if you don't know about your yidam, you can ask your root guru. And you know the one that's closest to you or most intimate to you, that's your yidam. And you need to always be mindful who you are, your secret name. That's just a name. And then if you don't even know your own name, then that's really the realm of no self. But that's not the case. You need to know who you are at any time. Lian Hua so and so, or Lotus so and so. So always remember these three. If you can say it in your dreams, then you would definitely bear fruition. Someone told me, I have a lot of nightmares recently. So I am asking you now, can you chant the heart mantra of your root guru? Om Guru Lian Seng Siddhi Hom. Can you chant it? Once you chant it, your nightmares will stop. Don't you know? When when you have nightmares and you chant Om Guru Lien Sung Siddhi Hom, the nightmare will disappear. You will not suffer from the nightmare anymore. Why do you have nightmares in your dreams? Because you cannot be mindful toward your root guru. You cannot mindful toward your yidam, and you cannot mindful toward your own name, secret name. That's very dangerous, because at the moment of death, it would be like in your sleep or dream. So when you die, it's like in the dream. And then at that time, if you forget about your root guru, about your yidam, about your secret name, then it's impossible for you to save yourself. And then when you get in front of the Yama King, and the Yama King asks you and you don't remember still, then you're dead. That's it. And of course you remember when you're awake in the daytime. Like Grandmaster's root guru, there are 4 of them. Master Duktan Darji, Karmapa, Master Sakya Chungkong, and the monk Liao Ming. They are my root gurus. Cannot forget. And your yidams, Golden Mother, Amitabha, Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva. And your secret name, Living Buddha Lien Sung. Also Duktan Chimo. And also others. You need to remember all this. You have to remember all your secret names. You have to be able to answer at those times. If you can say it in your dreams, then you will definitely have attainments. But if you cannot say it in your dreams, then you would always have nightmares and the bad dreams. So that's why you always need to chant Namo Kurupe, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dhammaya, Namo Sanghaya. You need to chant this 4-fold refuge mantra. I memorize them and I chant them often. And you need to be mindful toward your gurus, your yidams, your protectors, and then also your secret names, as written here. You need to always be mindful of them, and you need to frequently chant them. And if you do them often during the daytime, at night, in your dreams, when you encountered calamities, you can chant Namo Kurupe, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dhammaya, Namo Sanghaya. Or you can chant Om Guru Lien Sung Siddhi Hom, or Om Ami Devase, or chant your protectors. So now I'd like to ask all of you, let me just point, who's your protector, Aslewa? Hey Bajra, what's his mantra? Oh, good thing you remember. How about one down there? Reverend Ning Yi. Because you're rather fat. Who's your protector? 1,000 arms. Have a look at this one. Hayagriva, can you say his mantra? Oh, you pass. So we are disciples with spiritual roots. That's good. You can chant them in the daytime, and if you can also chant them at night in your dreams, then you have attainments. So place your hand if you can chant your root guru, your yidam, and your protector's mantra. If you can do this in your dreams, please raise your hands. That's very good. Look too, can chant them at night. There are several jokes. So the old age lives is like this. We live as if it's New Year. So it's called living our day as if it's a year. It's a prayer to the Chinese. Nowadays we don't need cash. We just use our cell phones to pay. So we say that we have no money on us at all. Nowadays we use credit cards. No, we just use cell phones. But I have no cell phones. What should I do then? I don't use money, but I carry some money with me, but I don't pay. Third, every month we have retirement fund deposited into our bank savings. That's called waiting for currencies. So we all live in apartments, so we say that our house has no roof or no tiles. So they use cement nowadays. But in America, we still have roof tiles, but not in Taiwan. They just use concrete. And after retirement, now you have time and you travel all over. And then that's called, there's no fixed residence. Then you just wandering around. So that's the different explanation of this Chinese idioms in modern terms. So this piece of Lamdre that we talk about today is extremely crucial. So those with the superior spiritual root, they can attain Buddhahood in this lifetime. And the middling spiritual root, at the moment of death, because they have light in their hearts, in the flesh, they can transform to become a Buddha. And for the inferior spiritual root, and when your soul leaves your body and you encounters your yidam, then you can be guided toward the Pure Land. But for the lowest kind of spiritual root, they can have attainment in 7 lifetimes by abiding to the precepts. So the precept holders can have attainments only after 7 lifetimes. These are all extremely important. So those with superior spiritual roots are very few and rare, because you have transformed into Buddhas yourself. That's extremely difficult. According to my own personal spiritual cultivation, I know it's extremely difficult, because you have to transform yourself to become completely no self. So from one with affinities into one without affinities. So what is one with affinities is when we do visualization. You visualize your yidam, you visualize the implements, you visualize the mantras or the syllables. Those are all with affinities. But when you have attainments, there are no affinities, which means you don't need to visualize anything, you don't need to recite any mantras, you don't need to form any mudras. At that moment, directly, your inner light is emitted and directly, naturally merge into the light of the universe. And that's the attainment with forms. So at first there's this self, and you have to reach the no self, and you need to eliminate the self or Atman. You need to eradicate your own attachments and afflictions. I spoke with Mr. Han Go-yi for half an hour, and he primarily recites Heart Sutra. So we talk about Heart Sutra. I said, if there's this I or self, then you have something to gain. But in the Heart Sutra, it's written that because there's no self, that means you have to be no self. And Mr. Han Go-yi said that's extremely profound and high level, because when there is no self, then you have no afflictions. What are afflictions? There's no need to be afflicted, because eventually there's no I, no self. We have afflictions because there is I. That's why I'm afflicted. If I doesn't exist, why would I would be afflicted, right? Where there would be afflictions. So as a human being, we are held in bondage by the afflictions. And without I, what are you attached to? So in our Buddhist practice, we need to eliminate 2 things. One is I, or self. The other one is attachments or graspings. If you can eliminate these 2, then you are guaranteed to attain Buddhahood. But can you eliminate these 2? It's extremely difficult. As a human being, you have lots of afflictions, and like your worries, concerns, like say skin allergies, or if you're sick, then you will be afflicted. But once you are dead, do you still have illnesses? No. When there is no self, is there an illness? No. So if you are mindful of this no self, then your afflictions will decrease over time. So by being mindful of no self, you cut off all your afflictions. That's what I told Mr. Han Kuo-yu. You have the affinity to run for presidency, then put in your best, put in your efforts, but you don't need to care so much whether you get elected or not. Then you will not be afflicted. If you become president, then you just do your best to serve Taiwan. But if you don't get to be a president, it's okay. You would still be a city mayor. It doesn't matter. That's what I told Mr. Han Kuo-yu. So that's how it is for lots of things, and that's how I am. That's my attitude in my deliverance of sentient beings. If I can help you, deliver you, I try. I would do so. But if I cannot, it's fine. Then go your way. Then you go your way, I go my way. Anyway, I don't care. I don't care about anything. So that's my mindset when I deliver sentient beings. If you don't believe me, if you have no faith in me, that's fine. But if you believe in me, then come. That's fine. Doesn't matter. I don't care about your red envelopes. I don't do this for money, really. You know, in Taiwan, every time I climb on the Dharma throne, there would be a Dharma master that would make an offering to Grandmaster. But look here in Seattle. And then also when I preside the group practice, no master is making offering to me. Like I'm seated here, there's no master that would come out and pay homage to Grandmaster and make an offering to Grandmaster. But it exists in Taiwan. You know, in Taiwan, when I conduct the Homa ceremony, Taiwan Lechang Temple would ask a master to make offering to Grandmaster, right? You know. But in Seattle, none of them. And also not for group practice, and not for Homa either. But in Taiwan, and they have the welcome provision to guide me to the Dharma throne. But here, I walk by myself. Nobody invited me, and I come here by myself. That's why there's no red envelope. Actually, it's okay, doesn't matter. In my deliverance of sentient being. Life is hard here in Seattle. You know, in Taiwan, oh, that's incredible. Every time for the Homa ceremony, we have hundreds of primary supplicants, but here, just like a couple, like 20s or 30s, 20s. If in Taiwan, I had only, if it were that I had only 20 supplicants, I would burn that temple. It was just a joke, okay? As I said, that's just a joke. It's a joke, really. but the Dharma that I was talking about is extremely important. I'm reminding you. There's a question and answer here. I have to talk about this before. So cut 8 into half. And Xiaoming asks, is it cut horizontally or vertically? If it's vertically, there will be 3, and horizontally, there will be 0. And the answer here is 0. And what kind of dog doesn't bark? Hot dog. The dinosaurs, Dharma brother, also have said this. The disciple of a painter. What do you call the disciple of a painter? Like I'm a painter. What is another name for a painter? Grandmaster paints every day. Nowadays, except Sunday, I would paint once a day, or one painting a day. One who loves colors, which colors in Chinese also means forms and sensualities and sex. Because I play with colors all day long. What kind of chicken does not lay eggs? A cock, a rooster. Of course I know. But this is an earphone. Of course, a rooster doesn't lay egg. There's nothing special about it. But earphone in Chinese sounds like ear chicken. I have said this before. What's the difference between electricity and lightning? What is the biggest difference between electricity and lightning? You have to pay for your electricity, and lightning is free. So, talking about Lamdre to this point, every point is extremely important. Up to here, Lamdre is extremely important. So you need to take notes when you listen. Things that's suitable for you, you want to take notes and to bring out the key points, because otherwise you may forget after hearing it. So if you take notes, about the key points, and then you train in them repeatedly. In the future, we all will have attainments on Mount Benko.